Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, the 8th of February, and it's your first maths lesson of the week. We are continuing with looking at perimeter, area, and volume. But first, we need to get ourselves warmed up. So here you have two questions. They're linked to what we've been doing last week. And I would like you to just involve you taking what we've learned and just applying it, thinking logically about it. So if you could have a look at these questions, pause it and have a go for me, that would be amazing in your home learning books. Okay, so let's go through some of the answers. So I've drawn all over it, but let me talk you through it because I would rather have the workings there than have to do it live and make it messy for you. At least I can talk you through this. The first one, a shape is made up of two equilateral triangles and a square. What is the perimeter of the shape? So, equilateral triangles, we know all sides are the same. Squares, we know all sides are the same. So the perimeter of a shape is a distance around the outsides. We have this side, this side, this side, this side, this side. So we've got three straight sides and then four of the ones on the triangle. Now we are told that one side of the equilateral triangle is 5 centimeters. So we know that that's fine. This one going down is 5, this one going back up is 5, this one going down is 5. So we know that there's 20 centimeters at the top. But to work out what this side is, we've got two equilateral triangle sides of the same length as this one side of a square. So if one equilateral triangle is 5 centimeters, then two of them are going to be 10 centimeters. So the side of the square is 10 centimeters. Now this side is covered by the equilateral triangles, so we don't need that, it's not the perimeter. So we need this one, 10, this one for 20, this one for 30. And we already had 5, 10, 15, 20 at the top. So 20 centimeters, add the 30 centimeters is 50 centimeters. Hopefully we did okay with that one. Perimeter of the pentagon is 25 centimeters. We are given lots of measurements and are asked to find two lengths. Now these little lines signify that these are equal. These sides are parallel to each other, they are also equal in length. So we can, what we do for one, we can do for the other. So we need to find out what both of them are. We are given a measurement in centimeters, in millimeters, and in centimeters. It's up to you which way you do it. The way I'm going to go through it is I put a decimal point in the middle of the 55 to make 5.5 centimeters, because then I only have to change one of them. And I was working with smaller numbers rather than 50s and 80s. Although I'm working with decimals. If you don't like decimals, then you might like to change them all to millimeters. So 5.3 centimeters, add the 5.5 centimeters that I got from converting here, add the 8 centimeters, all the sides I've got, give me 18.8 centimeters. Now I know the total perimeter is 25, so 18.8, add these two sides should be 25, so I'm going to do the inverse. 25, I'll put 25.0 so I can calculate a bit better, and then the 18.8, I've done my taking away, and I end up with 6.2. So both of these sides are equal to 6.2 when added together. We want to know the length of each. If they're both exactly the same, we can just split them equally, which means dividing by 2. So 6.2 divided by 2 is 3.1. So both lengths are 3.1 centimeters. If you did it in millimeters, you're looking for 31 millimeters. Okay, today we're looking to find the volume of the cuboid. We've already started to look at how to find volume. Today we're going to be using the formula to continue that. So star words are volume, width, length, and height. We are going to need all three together, and cuboid, so 3D rectangle basically. So last week we looked at finding the volume of a shape using cubes and moved on to beginning to look at a volume of a shape using a formula. Width times length times height equals volume in centimeters cubed, don't forget. So today you're going to be undertaking questions based on this formula, and we'll move on to doing some problem solving with it as well. We're going to move your learning forward. So to find the volume of this cuboid, I have a length of 8, a width of 3, and a height of 4 centimeters. So what I'm going to do is length times width times height. Any way, as long as I times all three. So 8 times 3 times 4. 8 times 3 is 24, times by 4 is 96. So 96 centimeters cubed is the volume of that cuboid. Just times all three together and then put the unit cubed. I'm not really going to do much more than that for now. We'll move on a little bit later, but what I want you to do for now is to log on to Mathletics, because your Mathletics activity today is your fluency task. So I'd like you to log on and do exactly that, exactly the activity you've been assigned. Use the formula. It shouldn't take you too long. Get them answered so I can see if you can do it, and then come back and we'll continue the rest of the lesson, which is going to be more book-based. So go and have a go at Mathletics, please. Perfect. All right, let's move on. So sometimes we will have a decimal number as a measurement. So here we've got a height of 5 centimeters, a width of 2 centimeters, but a length of 6.5 centimeters. Now, for some of you, as soon as you see a decimal, your eyes glaze over, you think it's going to be the most difficult thing in the world. Well, it isn't. It's a bit trickier, but we still use the same techniques to multiply. So it's no harder. It just requires a little bit of extra writing and a knowledge of a decimal point. That's all. So we need to be mindful of place value to avoid mistakes. That's where it can get tricky. So the volume is going to be 6.5 times 2 times 5. So first thing I'm going to tackle is 6.5 times 2. So all right, 6.5, do the 5 times the 2 to get 10. Decimal point follows down exactly the same column. 2 times 6 is 12, add the 1, 13. Once I've got that, I times about 13 by 5. So I've got 13 by 5, gives me my 65. Perfect, so we've got that there. I don't know why I've done this extra bit of working. I've changed it up here because it was 78. I've gone absolutely crazy. So I'm going to get rid of that. That's a load of nonsense. I was obviously in maths mode on that one. So what we have actually done is 6.5 times 2 is 13, and then we times that by 5 to get 65, and then that's our answer, 65 centimeters cubed. Don't add them together like I did initially, that's a load of rubbish. So we've times these two to get an answer here, and we times that by 5, and that gives us our final answer, so 65 centimeters cubed. What I'd like you to do in your home learning books, I want you to pause the screen in a second, and you have 8 cuboids here, some of them with decimals, some without. All I need you to do in your home learning books is to write the volume of each. So make sure you set out clear. Put question number 1, volume equals any workings you need right next to it. But have a go, find the volumes, and then come back and we'll go through the answers. Right, so let's go through those answers. So here they are. So what I would do, easiest way to do it is I'd pause, I'd look at the answers, mark them, and then see where you got. If you got all of them, amazing. If you got some of them, great. If you got 1 or 2 and you're starting to get, that's really good as well. If you really didn't get any of them, that's okay. Maybe we can go through it in a drop-in session or tutorial later in the week. Okay, so pause it, mark your answers. Amazing. Right, let us continue. So here is a problem solving reason we were talking about. Now I've got 3 problems here, and honestly, I think you are more than capable of doing this. I'm just going to let you loose on them and have a go. So the final thing in your home learning book, I did tell you there'd be a lot of book work today, a lot of workings. I've got 3 questions here, 1, 2, and 3. I would like you to have a go at all 3 of them. If you don't get one, that's fine, but try your best to use what we've just talked about to get all 3. Think logically, how am I going to get there? And see if you can solve them all. So Rosie says you can't calculate the volume of a cube because you don't know the width or the height. Now, what do we know about a cube? So do you agree with her? Calculate the volume of a shape. Looks like I've got 2 cuboids here. So I wonder if I could use that to find some missing sides to help me out. So I can find the volume of both cuboids. And then the last one, how many different ways can you make a cuboid with a volume of 48 centimeters cubed? Lots of ways to do it. You just got to think about your timesing and your number patterns to help you get there. So pause it, have a go, and we'll go through the answers. Okay, let's go through some answers. So the first one, Rosie says that you can't calculate because we don't know the width or height. All edges of a cube are equal. That's basically what we needed. So all of them are going to be 2. So it's going to be 2 length, 2 width, 2 height, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So it's 8 centimeters cubed. So we very much can calculate it. So Rosie's wrong. So hopefully we got Rosie's wrong and all edges of a cube are equal. If you put sides, I'm not going to kick off. Just as long as we've said that they're all equal, they're all going to be 2, you're fine. Next one. Split the cuboids into A and B. Don't have to call them A and B, you can just have split them, but A and B make it easier for me to talk about them. So cuboid A, we have here height of 4 centimeters. We've got a length of 7 centimeters. We can see here the missing one is the width, but you can see the width is exactly the same as this cuboid that stood up. So the width's 2 here, so it's going to be 2 here. So 7 times the 4 times the 2 is 56 centimeters cubed. That's the volume of A. Then B, we have a height of 9, we have a width of 2, but we don't know the length. Now the whole length of this side is 12. The length of this cuboid was 7. So this 7 and this chunk add to make 12. So by taking 7 away from 12, I'm left with this little blue chunk that I want, the length. 12 take 7 is 5. So then I do 9 times 2, which is 18. And then times that by 5 to give me 90. And then I add my 2 volumes of the cuboids together. 90 add 56 is 146 centimeters cubed. The last one were loads of different ways. 24 times 2 times 1, 2 times 6 times 4, 6 times 8 times 1. I've just given you a few. If you find more, and as long as they multiply, so check them to make 48 centimeters cubed, you're golden, you're fine. Okay, so well done on those 3 questions. Well done on doing your volume and taking your volume learning a bit further today. To finish off, I'd like you to go on to TT Rockstars and have a go at practicing your times tables, getting really fluent and quick with them, and then you're done for the day. We'll be back for another math session tomorrow. Bye-bye now.